Hey everybody, it's your old pal Jones with this month's Patreon questions and answers. We've got a lot, so let's get going. First one, what did you eat on the morning of your wedding day? As you may not know, or may know if you've been looking at the Patreon feed, I am now married and it is awesome. I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning. I was very excited. I had the continental breakfast at the hotel we were staying at, which was a little eccentric, but I loved it. I had some coffee, I had some toast, and I also had like a little tiny children's size pre-made cup of Cocoa Pebbles. If you could live anywhere in the world for half a year, where would it be? I have to say, I mean, the times we've been there, and Stacy and I both agree, I think it would be Santa Barbara. And it would be between November and April, right when New York starts to get that kind of prohibitively cold and just the MTA response to it, and it gets all junky as well. And then stay there from November until April, and then come back just when you get the nice, awesome pre-summer vibes of the city, which is one of my favorite times. Just like October in New York is really wonderful too. What legacy do you want to create as an uncle? Well, I am an uncle to a great deal of a niece and nephews for now, and a soon-to-be born child. I want to be known as a person who's nurturing, someone who's you can contact in case you have any questions about life or job stuff. I also want to be more present in their lives. I know I've been very busy, and I know I've assumed my sister or brother are very busy, so I haven't been as communicative as I could be. What did you learn in elementary school that prepped you for married life? Well, I didn't learn it in school, but I learned it by doing what I did in elementary school, which is this. I obsessed over an unrequited crush from like third grade all the way on to ninth. And I think looking back on it, what I learned now is that the people who love you will love you as you are. And that doesn't mean you have to not do some self-work or improve on things, but pushing and pushing and pushing after somebody who doesn't feel the same is not healthy. It doesn't let you grow, and that won't get you to a happy place of love and or marriage. And I think that by surrendering that in my own life and by learning that hard lesson, I think it made me more open. What is your favorite thing about married life? Good question. The morning of the wedding, I got to hang out one by one with a friend of mine who was officiating the wedding, named Rocky. And Rocky told me his piece of wisdom, which I heartily agree with, which is that the best thing about being married is that you are no longer alone. No matter what, whatever challenge comes at you, there are two people looking at it. Debt, stress about job situations, just dealing with how you feel on a daily basis. Those are all carried together by two people, and I'm so glad to have Stacy in my life and to hear her and to witness her and for her to witness me. Do you have a voice in your head that freaks out about something that you do creatively that feels silly? All the goddamn time. And I sometimes hear it as a quiet voice saying that this isn't gonna work. This is stupid. You're being really weird here or dark. And sometimes it's a loud voice that says, no, you don't have the skills or the talent to pull this off. It's not gonna make money. And I have to fight that voice all the time. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It's been getting a little better these days. I know for the past year or so, it was a lot of struggle, and that voice was very, made very compelling cases. I think the key to it is if you can get past that voice and just do the thing, no matter what. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about what it looks like in your head versus what it ends up being. Just do the thing that first time. And it's sloppy, messy, garbagey draft. You can look back on it then with critical eyes and then start to fine tune it and see what works for you. But just get to that first step. What's your favorite game and why? I love games. I love all kinds of games. I used to subscribe to Games Magazine as a kid. But my favorite game is a game that is a storytelling game. It's called Fiasco. I recommend that you get it. It's really, it's a series of books, really. And then from the books, you enact a role-playing game of sorts. You use dice to determine various aspects of your character and what kind of character you are. And then once that's decided, you begin telling that story with the group. And you start improvising certain things. One of my favorite ones was we had a Wild West situation. And there were some rustlers and a very corrupt mayor who owned a whorehouse. And through the process of this hour and a half game, you start to see different unexpected surprises, mysterious loves that came to fruition. What makes Fiasco even more fun is that after you do the first establishing of characters, the twist comes in. There's always a twist that you have to roll to create, and that twist, just like a Coen Brothers film, shows how people with good intentions, or even not so good intentions, get unraveled by themselves, by exterior forces, and maybe they're trying to get ahead, or just try to cheat the system, and then unexpected, terrible things happen. And that's what makes it such a wonderful game. I recommend that you play it. I miss playing it right now. Why did you make your friend Christopher Kuberth the murderer in your birthday game? Some exposition here. When I was 24, I want to say, I worked at the Queen Mary, and I left the job on my birthday the first time, and then I also created this super enormous, elaborative, improvised-based murder mystery game with about 30 of my friends, held at my birthday party at our apartment. It was crowded and cramped and very, very lovely of all my friends to do it. It was called, let's call it Deuces Wild. It was a speakeasy-based improvised murder mystery game. And I didn't actually make Chris the murderer. Chris has a very, very colorful memory these days. He has mistaken Brent Blair, one of our teachers, for Paul Backer. Rest in peace, Paul. And he remembers being the murderer, but he actually was the red herring. He was the guy that everyone thought, oh yeah, this guy's totally the murderer. But in fact, the murderer was a friend of ours named Bonnie, who worked at the Queen Mary, who was a nun. And I know this because I spent 2 months trying to find the perfect prop for her, which was a wooden crucifix type object that slid open with a hidden panel where you could put a vial of poison. Questions for you. How do you cultivate luck in your life? Number 2, what's your favorite scent? Thanks, everybody. Have a great month.